Today's video, we're over in a garage doing some Andersen 100 series. These are sliders. We don't come across these very often, so I wanted to do a quick video. When I originally measured these, go ahead Dakota and show us what, so we're measuring from jam to jam like we typically do for an Andersen product, and we get 34, and so we ordered these windows at 33.5, and the width seems to be perfect. All right, now how do we look on the heights here? 22.25, and I usually subtract a 3/8, so that puts it at 21 7/8. Now, when I measured all these, I made the assumption that the plastic jam liners come out just like on their double hung system, and they did for the most part come out, but we did have to do some alterations, so we'll talk about that in a minute. So go ahead, we're going to start showing you how we're going to disassemble this. The first step we do is that inside track, there's several screws, and we just start working our way around getting those screws out, and that will allow us to take that top track out. Now he's going to slide that sash all the way to the left after he gets that piece out, and then that will allow him to get to the other screws that are on this side. From the top, and that's it for that part. All right, the next step, now that sash is out, you can see there's two screws at the top and then one on the side over there that Dakota's going to take out, and that'll remove that bracket and the screws out. All right, yeah, I see that there. And there's a couple at the bottom track, 3 at the bottom. So he's going to remove all those, and that should allow us to take out that keeper sash. Alright, very good. 3 screws. So this is connected to all of this, and we're going to cut. We're actually going to pry. We're going to get a pry bar in here. It's a little gasket right there. We're going to get behind that, and there's silicone behind here, so it's a little tough to work it, but you work all this out. We're going to take a fiend saw right along that line right there, because this vinyl tucks back and behind the wood, so we actually have to cut it. You can kind of see a little rib right there. That's actually where we're going to cut down with the fiend saw. That'll remove this entire jam here. And then obviously we're going to do the other side, the exact same process on this side. And then what we do across the top, it's exactly the same thing here. We're going to cut right at that edge, right where my thumbnail is. Real nice and clean, all the way across with, again, the fiend saw, which is also known as an oscillator. And that'll allow us to remove the top. Now the bottom, same thing. We're going to pry in back here, work our way towards the front. We're going to cut it right along here. What we found after we did the measurements and everything, there's actually solid wood right up here, so our windows are fitting too tight. So we're actually going to, on this window, we're going to chisel this entire section from here to here all the way out and get rid of that slope that's under there, and that'll give us a nice flat surface to set the windows on. So we'll get a shot of how to do. Okay, all good. So what we've done now is we've cut a nice clean line, all 4 sides, and when we do the cut, we want to make sure that we stay as close to this trim. Now this trim here is going to be seen, so we want to try to do that without damage. We don't want to mark up this part of the trim. Get that to focus. There we go. Alright, so now Dakota's going to start prying on the parts, and you always start with the jams on this style window. So that's pretty much with that jam nice and clean. We'll get those little parts off. And we'll do the other side. Now this is that wood I was talking about here. I was hoping this would not be here. I was hoping it was just a vinyl insert, but this has a slope to it. So we're gonna actually take our oscillating saw and we're gonna cut this vinyl off as well, and then we're gonna flatten this out to get it down to this level here. That will then give us enough room for the window, because that's how I measured it, thinking that the frame went all the way down to this point. So if we leave this in, the window will not fit. On future jobs, I will probably measure the window to sit to this position, and we won't have to then chisel this out. But it doesn't take that long though. This does come out pretty quick with the chisel and an oscillator. Okay, got the window in. Everything fits nice and snug. Nice reveal everywhere. And we'll start installing the installation screws, put the sashes in, but that's a perfect fit. It did take some extra time to remove that sill, but it did make for a perfect fit. But again, I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably measure to this instead of this level. I'd measure to this, and looks like that would subtract about a 1/2 inch on my height. So instead of 7/8, that would be 3/8 on the height. But yeah, good fit. So we'll start putting the window back together, get the install screws and the sashes, the screen, and then we'll just have to do the caulk on the inside and then foam and coil from the outside.